Hi, everyone, and welcome. My name is Jonathan Leon, and I'm a senior solution process architect with Accelerate Inc. Prior to joining Accelerate in the end of 2023, I worked in the IT industry for over 2 decades. I was a revenue cycle systems analyst supporting revenue cycle teams such like scheduling, registration, the charge master, HIM. So I had a hand in many different areas. As part of my support needs, I took a lot of interest in learning the operational side of things because I knew it made stuff easier for me. So what I'm saying is really, I bring a lot of experience to Accelerate and kind of think of me as your man on the inside. But enough about me. Let's talk about my co-host. So today I have.
How you doing, everyone? My name's Amos Ford. I'm a senior customer engagement manager here at Accelerate. I've been with the company for 5 years. Come from a development background, worked in various different industries, and oversaw hundreds of automations. So I'm very excited to get into this topic today. Thank you, Jonathan.
So today we're going to be diving into a major healthcare challenge: denials management. Over the next 30 minutes, you'll learn how AI-powered automation can modernize your approach and reduce revenue loss. We'll cover things like why denials are rising, what intelligent automation looks like in practice, a demo, real world outcomes, and how to get started. So let's dive right in. All right, one of the main reasons, and this is no shock to many of you, denials are on a rise. We have obtained a lot of stats as to what's going on, and a major reason why you're all here. But denials are increasing across the industry due to payer rules, documentation complexity, and inconsistent workflows. One of the facts that shocked me so much is that the amount of claims denied has raised to about $250 billion annually. Manual review delays resolution and adds cost. And then on the Medicare Advantage side, denials have rose from 56% in 2022 to 2023. It's a reactive and resource heavy process. We need to rethink how to handle them, and hopefully, this is a solution for you. All right, so now incorporating agentic automation, we can do things like slash denial rates by catching issues earlier. We can accelerate appeal processing, maximize first pass approvals, and eliminate repetitive tasks and rework. This is now a reimagination of how your denial teams can work alongside agentic automation.
All right. Sorry. So let's talk about what that means. The next couple of slides we'll be going over are from UiPath, and they're just kind of breaking down what agentic automation really means. So here's how we break it down. Robots are task-oriented, great for structured rules. Agents are goal-driven. They learn and adapt, and both are people-led, meaning we make the decisions and we steer the automation. The collaboration between humans, bots, and AI agents is what we call agentic automation. Next slide, please. So what does that mean? Agents think, robots do, people led. So agents are able to bring in some of that subjectivity that we did not have with traditional RPA. So we're able to uh, accomplish more complicated processes and take care of higher detailed tasks. Next slide. So here is kind of what maturity would look like. And this is just high level use case for denials. We'll go into a more detailed demo and solution that we have built here at Accelerate. But just to kind of think about it this way, right? So before any RPA, all work was done manually. When we brought in traditional RPA, we were able to attack some of those very rule-based things. So like system of record integration, either through UI or working with the API, rule-based validation, interacting with third-party interfaces. So in a denial case, that's things like sending out the appeal denial, tracking the status. The next phase in that was bringing in intelligent document processing, or IDP, which UiPath's product for that is document understanding. What document understanding allows us to do is take structured and unstructured documents and extract details from that. It also brings in human in the loop, utilizing things like Action Center or UiPath apps, which allows the user to validate the information that was extracted. So if we're looking at in the denials process, this allows us to do things like receive the denial, index the patient. So from that, taking in what are the denial codes, what is the patient information, and then continuing through the process, and again bringing back RPA for doing the appeal, tracking the status, and then also bringing in now receiving the payer response and being able to read and understand that. Now, where we are today, we're able to kind of oversee the entire workflow, right? Because now we're bringing in the agent, which has intelligent denial summarization. It can recommend remediation, of course, with grounded context. Also do some clinical evidence retrieval and appeal correspondence generation. So if we're looking at this chart, we're moving, all the way from manual work where none of those checks are colored in, all the way to the bottom where the agent is able to help out with the human in the loop throughout the entire process end-to-end workflow. So from here, let's talk about a little more detail. I'm going to hand it back over to Jonathan, who'll go over our denial solution.
Alrighty, so with our denial solution, we're creating several agents along the denials workflow. As you see here, these are the four main agents that we've decided to break up the process into. So we'll have an agent that's going to focus on your denial capture and documentation. This is the one that's going to initially review the denial information, do some intelligent processing, and determine what the denial codes and reasons are. And then it'll hand it off to the appeal decision and prep agent, which that one will then take information from the first agent, go ahead and review that to then do the second level of thinking, which would be the appeal process. Is this denial reason one that warrants an appeal, or does it just require additional information to be resubmitted? That agent performs that and then hands it off to the appeal submission and follow-up agent. So what we're seeing here now is we're incorporating this intelligent automation, creating specific agents to handle parts of the task, to do some of the thinking, to allow more throughput of work being performed at the same time. Let's go to the next slide to kind of dissect really the workflow with the agents incorporated. So at the very top here, you'll see those four agents that were mentioned previously. But as you can see, we're kind of breaking them down, their specific workflow or the task that they'll be responsible for. As alongside the agent, you'll see that there is a human figure there. As Amos mentioned before, it's like a three-tiered process or a three-group process. We have the agent for thinking, the RPA or the bots that do the workflow, but then the humans are there to lead, to really ensure that the thoughts and decisions that are made are accurate and approved by a person there. So we do still want to incorporate our teams to work alongside this technology to ensure that the workflow is proceeding as it should. So I think from here, let's just go ahead and get to the part that we all came to see. Let's review a demo that we've created here, just showing this agentic automation utilizing the UiPath software. I'll go ahead and give a little voiceover to what we're seeing, just so that I can add a little contextual information on top of that. Okay, so what we're looking at here, this is our UiPath Studio. This is really like an overview of the workflow that we've created there. Hopefully you all can see it clearly, but at the beginning, you'll see some difference in icons here. This top icon here, and the first cell that, I'm not sure if you see there, but the one that says the get denial reports, that icon there is to represent a bot. So that means that we have an automation that's going to go out there and retrieve information from the denials reports. Further along the process, if you were just to continue on to the right there, you're going to notice that AI star symbol that we're all accustomed to see now. This is where the first thought process takes place. Once all the denial information has been received, it's going to go now through the AI model with everything that we've trained it on, that we've given it, any kind of contextual information, policies, any statement of works, like all that you have regarding denials, we can feed that into this AI model so that it can actually think and understand what to do there. So that's where the thought processing will take place. It will understand the denial codes, the reasons, as well as the next steps. So from there, if we just kind of went along a little bit to the right, you might see the familiar person icon there. So those are the parts of the workflow that we would like someone to oversee the next actions to take place. We're not going to let this run wild and just submit or provide appeals or whatnot. We want to ensure that you all have the empowerment to give the yay or nay for the next steps. For this demo, we've included 2 different points of a human decision to be made, but it's all up to your desire as to how many points of contact or oversight that you will all like. So I'm just going to go ahead and resume the video, and you'll actually see as the process is moving along, the colors will move through. Yes, and then what we're seeing here, we are a software company. We don't have access to EHRs, so we are mocking up 835 files that are residing in a shared folder. So with what we can do, we can access shared folders, we can integrate with your EMRs, we can interact with them and all that. So we'll choose the optimal route to receive the denial information. From our scenario standpoint, we mocked up 835 files, all with dummy information, but we can tap into like work queues or any kind of work lists you may have within your EHRs, or we can go directly to the source for the files that you have in place. So back there, we were just showing that the 835s are being collected. Right now, as you see, there's a blue box there. So that's where the automation was going and retrieving all the 835 information. It's handed off now to the AI where it's actually doing the thinking. So from that 835 that it received, what are the codes? What is it understanding it to be? If you might see towards the lower right-hand side, it did find the denial code and reason. And based off of that, it's taking its next steps of action. So the green path is the path that this scenario is going to. And with this one, my apologies. Okay, so it did decide that for this reason obtained, an appeal is not needed. So it's just going to go ahead and log that and then move on to the next. With the logging, I just want to also let you know that you have complete visibility to what's happening with these automations. As it's moving along the process, there's so much going on. We would want to ensure that you all know what actions are being taken, feel comfortable in the action that's being taken, so we can log anything that the automation is taking place so that it can be reviewed after the fact, revised, modified, or whatnot, so that you are not in the dark with what's taking place. All right, so for this scenario, it should just go ahead and log it and move on to the next file. Okay, so now you see the blue went back to the left, so it's going and retrieving the next file there. It's sent over the denial codes and to the AI. So now the AI is retrieving that information, it's dissecting it, and I believe here it caught a C0197, which is an authorization issue. So for that, you'll notice it took the middle pathway now, which is that an appeal letter will be sent. So at this point, with appeal letters, we understand they can vary by payer, by policy, by contract. There are various amounts of variation that can take place there. So with this, we want to feed this model now any kind of templates, any contractual information. We can even have it go out to web portals or sites to get any latest and greatest information. But this tool here will gather information that it needs or that you've provided to it so that it can draft up an appeal letter. Since we know this is very sensitive and something that we want to be careful about, we do have a check in place for a human to validate the appeal draft letter that was sent or that was mocked up. And it can be modified before then. We'll go ahead and show that as well, but just wanted to let you know the AI is going to take a first go around at it, which will free up the time from your staff, where now all they're having to do is just modify and review or kind of confirm what's being seen and then give it the green light. So at this phase, and now that we see it's the human phase there, where we need the person to go ahead and lead and approve, we're taking it to what's known as the action center. So this is where the tasks are going to live for those follow-up items that are there. And here you'll see that it shows the appeal letter. So with this one, we gave it a template here that's going to provide things like claim number, dates of service, procedure code, denied amount. This is completely something that we mocked up, but it can be fully customized to anything that you have or to any policies that your organization is following. But with this draft letter now, it's putting all this information at the forefront for your team. So just come in and modify and tweak as needed, just in case it didn't fully follow the guidelines provided to it, but it's going to be a much faster solution or process for your teams to take. So after making a few minor tweaks and reviewing the data that's present there, you can go and either approve it or let it know to approve the original message, send out the updated message, or it can just be rejected altogether so that the automation skips this account from moving any forward. All right, so clicking send the email was the option selected there. So now it's moving off to the far right where it's going to actually send that email. For this case, we understand that also can vary. So based on what the method of transmission is, we can create an automation to do that. And then here we're just showing that the email is being received on the other end um, with the body of text that was entered there. Moving over to the log phase, here's just kind of showing like the log files that are created as the automation is working through. Again, like I said before, this is completely customizable. So here we're just putting in fields like claim number and the fields that we felt were important. But here you can collect any data that is present along the process so that you can track, trend, and even monitor. Going to go to the third scenario now. Denial code has been received, sent over to the AI model. The model is dissecting that, seeing what it understands. It also felt that this denial reason required an warranted appeal letter, which, apologies, I think it was medical necessity. So for that medical necessity, if you recall the first email, you'll notice that this template that it's utilizing is going to be slightly different. Again, like I said, I know payers have certain requirements that they'd like, so we can tailor it to that payer. This email still has some common information, but it's changed based on the payer needs there. So we're going ahead, modifying it, tailoring it again to the way they desire so that we can go ahead and get this sent out appropriately. So after a few tweaks were made, you'll see that as well, we're going to give the okay to send out the updated email. Which it's doing right now. This again, just showing that the email was sent and now received by the other end and logged into our log files, which is what it's doing at this point. You just saw a third record appear, so this is all visible in real time. And again, we can collect any subset of information there. For the last scenario, we're just going to have it now read a file that's going to be erroneous. So there's going to be an issue with the file that we're loading into the system. All right, so now it's going off to the AI model. Since the file is not in either an appropriate format or the data isn't found as needed or the file itself isn't proper, when it went through the model realized that there was an error. So now you see that it's going to the very top side of this workflow, which this is now just kind of calling out to a person that there was something wrong with the file. We need you to help determine next step. Not really determine next steps, but either take corrective action. So when coming to Action Center, it's saying here that the file path itself isn't appropriate. It can't access the report. What the person can do here at this point is either paste in the information. Sorry. Okay. So here's just the 835 that we want to send through. So we can just paste in the information directly into that text field, or we can upload the file itself. So we have options of how we can take corrective actions. In this scenario, we're just going to paste in that the sample 835 that you saw there. And either click process to have the automation continue forward using that information, or if it's truly something that we don't need, we can just have it reject and skip that altogether. So in this case, we're just going to just have it reject. It's going to update the report, log that information there, and then close the loop and move on. So really here, what we're just trying to show again, this is how you can orchestrate AI to do some thinking, robots to take action, so obtain information, grab files, send an email, and then humans to do the verification or the leading, like Amos said earlier. Approve this, make a modification there, correct that, deny it. So now this is bringing this technology to your teams. Like I'm saying, it's working. Working alongside your employees. With that alone, you just have now more workload that you're able to carry and work through in a given day. You have intelligent automation here acting like that first set of eyes that really knows what it's doing, or at least has some knowledge to provide some assistance, where your teams just kind of need to do some follow-up and take some corrective actions there. I believe that is about last that we have there. Oh, and then yes, so once it's run through all scenarios, we we log everything, and then we can generate a full report or an email that can go off to any of your leads, any of your team members, to just know that the automation has completed its run. It'll associate the log file there via a hyperlink, just as you saw, and then now we're looking at the log files to someone, so that someone can come in and just get that glance and understanding of what took place. This is just a small subset of what we can do. Agentic automation is definitely something that is the future. I recently saw in a post, United Healthcare, they they announced that they have, I believe it was 1,000 automations running within their organization. That alone just means they have a full digital workforce working alongside their teams at every department. Their resources have now doubled, tripled, quadrupled because of all that, and they're able to get through a lot more work at a time. Knowing that that's what's happening on that side, I can understand why the swamp of workload happens on your end. So let's go ahead and get you all caught up. Let's level that playing field once again for you all. With that, let's go back to our presentation. That was our use case. I think this goes off to you, Amos.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Jonathan. Great demo there. And I will go a little further and say, AI is no longer the future. It is here. And we're seeing companies utilize it today and really kick off their programs and expand their programs utilizing Agentic. So before we kind of go into, what that looks like overall beyond just the nows, I want to talk a little bit about why work with Accelerate and why let us be your partner. So to start, we are a top-level UiPath Diamond partner. That means they have recognized our expertise on one of their products, and we work very closely with them on all new things. In addition to just being a Diamond partner, we're more specifically a UiPath Agentic Fast Track partner. So what that means is we've had early access and hands-on training with their UiPath Agentic tools. We're also deploying AI agents and complex workflows that think, decide, and act autonomously. And these are real business workflows, not just demos. So we're leveraging UiPath's integrate level agentic automation platform of orchestrating AI agents. And they're fully governed, monitored, and scalable. All right. So in addition to just the product, Accelerate in general, right? We have a deep industry expertise. As Jonathan mentioned, it goes beyond just us understanding the technology. We really pride ourselves on building a team that really has industry knowledge, and we have several individuals who have a lot of experience, not just on the technology side and implementing, but in the healthcare industry itself. We do advanced AI and RPA solutions. This is end to end from discovery, helping you work with various business units and departments and finding those automations, all the way to implementation, all the way to providing support after the go live, and continued maintenance and improvements on that. All of our implementation is tailored implementation. So these are customized solutions for you. And we have proven ROI. Now let's go to the next slide. So just some high level results and client success stories. We have a 500-bed hospital that has seen reduction in denial rates of 22% in 6 months, recovering over $2 million in revenue. Another healthcare system that's cut claim resolutions by 37%, significantly improving their cash flow. And just overall, we've done hundreds of automations in the healthcare space. So not just with the nows, not just RCM, but all over the organization. So today we talked a lot about denials in particular and looking at a denial use case. But again, Agentic, we're not just looking at one solution. So we did want to kind of talk a little bit about what overall Agentic program can look like. Kind of keeping it more towards RCM though. So I'll hand it over to Jonathan and let you talk a little bit about that.
Thank you. All right. So with this slide, I feel like this is the mecca for the reimagined RCM. What I have here is just kind of like the revenue cycle wheel there showing the different departments, different areas of revenue cycle, starting from scheduling all the way down to like a payment collection. The red I guess rectangles that you see there, I can imagine those as the agents. So now here's how I'm imagining we can have agents in every part of your revenue cycle. Again, agents are going to assist with your thinking. Your blue rectangles there, those are your automations or your bots, right? That they're going to take specific actions. So within your pre-reg, you have things like it's doing insurance verification, it's doing any referral notifications or just referral management there. In your charge capture, you can do duplicate charge review, any missing charges review there as well. For your utilization, we can have agents and automations kind of ensuring if there are any patient with length of stays that we're kind of coming near the end of the authorization there. So as you get more agents and more bots working together, they can all then start talking to one another. And now you have a fully connected and automated revenue cycle. This can definitely take revenue cycle to a new level. This can really raise the bar to how you and your teams are working, and you're utilizing this technology that is very powerful. I have had a hand in implementing some of these automations in different parts of revenue cycle. But what we're doing now is we're taking it now to that next level of getting the agents involved, and we're really incorporating that thought of the artificial intelligence. Again, this is something, like I said, still working alongside your teams. So we're really here to elevate the way your teams operate, where automations think, bots do, and people lead. Well, with that, everyone. Oh, next steps. I guess is this you, Amos?
Yeah. So, we'd like to thank you all for joining today, and just talk about, next steps. Phase one is really getting into, assessment and strategy. So, we would love to connect with some of you guys one-on-one and figure out, what type of steps you would like to take to identify workflows and any gaps that you may have in your processes. And then the phase two after that is configuration. So setting up agents and integrations. And then phase three is go live and optimization. So we didn't want to take too much of your time today. I hope the demo was helpful. We have some contact information there on the bottom right. We would love to set up some time, some one-on-one consultations and no cost. And we can talk more in detail about the POC that you saw today. I'll show you a little bit of the back end, what it's doing, how it's putting together the information, and get a little more into detail about that. Or if it's, beyond denials, we would love to help you figure out, how Agentic can help your organizations.
And with that said, definitely appreciates everyone's time. We do hope this provided some insights and some value to you all. Definitely looking forward to seeing how we can reimagine your revenue cycle and help take your teams to that next level. And I guess until the next time, bye for now.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.